I guess. F5s. So you pull the seat off and get yourself a pressure treated, probably 2x4. I ripped mine down to a 2x2 3/4 because I don't want to raise the seat a full 3.5 inches. That might be a little much, but you could do whatever you like. Cut up a couple strips of that 2x4. We're going to mount them right on there. Well, on the seat, underneath the seat, you're going to have to pull your staples. This is the front, and you're going to have to pull all these staples across the front and back a little ways, not too far, because we're going to make this whole seat is going to get shorter, because when you raise it up, it's going to be up here, so we have to move it back in against the gas tank. So we'll pull these staples, flip it back, and cut the foam. That's where a little bit of fabrication, that's the hardest part of this whole job. Fabricate your foam and rewrap the front of the seat to make it look decent. Otherwise, everything's pretty straightforward and simple. Alright, so I'm going to pull these staples out a while. Maybe you know an easier way. I'm just going to grab them. I'm just going to grab with a little pair of pliers, grab each staple and rip on it. But however you decide to do that. Staples are really a pain to get out. They're not easy. I was using a small screwdriver and just push under each staple. Just turn it up a little bit, pry it enough to where you can get a plier and just grab it, boom, rip it right out. They're tough, but they'll come out. So here's the seat. I peeled back some staples, got them out across the front, back just a little bit. Probably not far enough, but I'm gonna try it right there because I'm low budget. So if you peel it back, there's a little ball saver right there. It's probably enough room. There's the front of your seat. Probably enough room to work with. Should only have to cut back about 2 or 3 inches, and then just round it out again to the shape of your gas tank. So next step, I got to cut the 2x4s or the 2x3s, let's call them, and we'll attach them to the bottom here. And then when we set the seat back on the machine, it'll be up 2.5 inches or 2 3/4 inches, whatever you want. And then show you how to mount that in later. Basically, I just cut 2x3s up, maybe 13 inches long. 2 of them. I'm going to double them up. You can go like that probably and set your seat on it, but it looks a little too thin for me. So I'm going to put 2 together, and then over here put 2 together. I'm going to screw these together so they're solid blocks, and then we mount them to the bottom of the seat first. And then I'm also going to take another block right here where this heat exchanger is, where your old mount is. Take an 8-inch block, lay it across there. Probably have to notch out for that wire. And we'll mount that to underneath the seat too, to absorb some of the weight when you sit back on your seat. So we'll make these blocks up, this block up, an 8-incher for there, and then I'll show you how to mount it to the bottom of the seat. So there's our 2 blocks lined up right on there, and this block here on the heat exchanger has a notch for the wire. We're ready to set our seat on there and then do some cutting. We got to get that foam cut out first and fabricate that before we can mount these to the bottom of the seat. Because yeah, we got to see where it's going to sit. Let's figure that out. So next step is grab a Bud Light, because they don't use any corn syrup apparently, so that's the good stuff. So I'm going to cut the foam with a turkey knife. Turkey knife I think works the best, but my wife says we broke ours or something, so we don't have it anymore. So I'm going to try a Sawzall with a long blade on it. I don't know, maybe I'm going to try a metal blade as well. That might be a little too toothy. So we'll take the blade and we will try to just carve the seat. Let's see, let's throw the seat up there real quick. Hold on. So there it is, sitting in place. Let's stand back. The other sweet thing about doing this is actually after you do it, the seat slides forward about 3 inches, maybe 4 or 5 inches. Actually, it looks a little sweeter because you'll move everything up. If you have a bag, the bag will hide some stuff in the back, but it shortens the seat up and the machine actually looks a little better in my opinion. And then I'll get some rubber. I've used rubber, what are they called? Mud flap material. And just cut some strips. Any type of rubber will work. Cut some strips and you staple them. Once you're done, you staple it to the inside of this, and that just hangs down. That way you have nice black, black under there, hanging down to here. Hides all that, and actually doesn't look too bad. But this is where it gets a little bit of fabrication work to get the shape you want. You maybe do a little bit at a time. So I'm gonna take it around and down and try something like that. Shape it to the tank, and you'll have to just keep trying it until you get it. You just got to go for it, and then the whole seat will slide forward, like I said, and it actually looks pretty sweet because the seat's shortened up like the newer machines. All right, so I'm going to cut away a little bit and see what I come up with. So before you cut, what I realized is no matter how much you raise it, you probably don't want to cut any off of here because it's not going to touch anything as it is. So we're starting down here a little bit, right off of that. We want to go with this, the shape of this tank a little bit. I'm not much of a fabricator. I'm thinking of using something, let's say this paper's 3 inches. Just trace the tank. Something like that. Make your mark. Just got to cut a little bit at a time, I think, and slide it in. Trim a little more, slide it in, and to go for the best fit here. All right. All right. I cut a little bit. And looks like I got to cut a little bit more. I probably cut 3 inches off the front there. You slide it forward, you can see how far it hangs toward the tank there. It's a little high right now. I did this years ago on an F7. I don't remember how high I went. Maybe I went a little lower than this, but in any case, the ride feels like when you sit on it, you can definitely feel it. It makes a huge difference. But I'm going to trim a little more. I think I'm going to make that a little shorter so that the seat comes forward just a little more. Get a little tighter up in there. What I do is I cut it out up underneath there. You know, once I pushed it up against the tank, I marked it, cut a little out, slide it back in, and just kind of keep marking it, seeing what you want there, and trim it out. Just do a little at a time, because once you cut it all out, you can't put it back. So just take your time, get it to where it gets up in there nice and tight. And still, the seat didn't even slide that far forward yet, so you got plenty to go. And like I said, it'll look sweet with the seat a little shorter anyway. Okay, this shot is from the handlebars looking down at the seat. These are my blocks. My block. So we want to mount the block to the bottom of the seat. The best way I know to do it would be a screw coming up through into the plastic base of the seat. And coarse thread drywall screws seem to bite really good. I put a couple in and you could barely rip them out. Maybe you would glue it. I'm not even going to glue mine, but maybe glue, then the screws. But I don't have any long enough, so I want to go up into the plastic maybe that far. So I'm just going to drill some. I'm going to drill a couple holes in this. So basically with them holes drilled, I'm going to put these through, boom, boom, right up into the bottom of my seat. Right up in the bottom of my seat. So then these will be mounted to the seat. Once these are mounted to the seat, you go to set your seat on. Boom, you set it down, it's there. And then we just have to get some screws, some self-tappers. You can reach up through your track with an extension on an impact and go right up through the track. Screws right up into this wood. A few screws to hold the seat down. And then you could get into this will still go into the trunk of the seat. You know, if you want to try to find it and drill a new hole and put a washer on it maybe to help hold the back down. But I think I'll do that as well. But we'll see how well it mounts like this first. So I'm going to work on this a while, get these drilled to the right height, stick these in, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here it is. Got my two pieces on there. Got the holes drilled to countersink the screws a little bit, just because I didn't have long enough screws to make it up through. Seat fits right on there. Let me throw it on. Seat fits right on there. Cut it out. And you push it up close. I mean, you got this a little bit, but by the time you wrap it and all, it doesn't look all that bad. I was going to actually make it higher in the back and then taper these down a little. Then you could probably still get the same seat height back here, a little lower here to take away from that. If you want to get crazy and spend a lot of time, you can fabricate it like that as well. So I'm going to mount these things to it and see if we can get this wrapped up. So I'm wrapping the seat back up. kind of just pulled it back over. This all looks original. Wrapped it up like this. A couple staples right here and here. And this doesn't reach because that's got to go in front of the tank. But that'll stay. I would really just start bringing it in right here. Maybe just a couple staples to the wood there. Of course, I'm out of staples. I'll get back. What I did was just pack it out. Took a 2 by something, whatever. Packed it out. Now it makes it almost to the edge of the seat. I can put my rubber in, staple that to the sides. Right on up the side, and then it'll hide it. I'll show it. It's a piece of cake. Just had to figure it out how to mount it in there. All right. So can't really record this. It's very difficult. But I got an impact driver. I got a semi-long extension and some decent screws, like that cut through metal. I got these nice screws with a flat head on them, but they cut through metal and they're wood screws. They're made for metal roofing, actually, so you could go through the metal and then bite into wood. So basically, with the long extension, you get up in there and right through the cogs, one of those cogs, that cog, yeah, get your impact all set up in there. Screw right up through the bottom of the tunnel. It's all just aluminum up there. There's no, the cooler's in the back, so you don't have to worry about that. And screw right into the wood, which there's my rubber, by the way, hiding it. And if you lift it up, the screw will come right up into there and suck that wood down and hold your seat down. So I'm gonna finish screwing that down, and then we'll see what it looks like. And there it is, raised seat, looking sweet. I trimmed the rubber, cleaned it up a little bit, mounted it. And you know what? The only thing is if you don't have a bag, can't really tell you how to hide the back. Back's a little rough, you know, however you want to do it. But trim the rubber. I could have spent more time on it. But Firecat makes a nice bag. Goes on the back. Clips in. Then look at it. You know what I'm saying? Looks good. I don't even think it cost me about, I don't know, I had the screws laying around. The screws were the most costly thing. They're probably at 50 cents. Obviously, everybody has wood laying around, right? Little rubber. I actually used the rubber out of a pair of old rubber boots that were dry rotting. I don't use anymore. So pretty much cost me about $1 to raise my seat 2.5 inches, and still looks good. Probably higher than the Boss seat. All right, put some handlebar risers on it. You're riding with the big boys. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, she still looks stock, but she's not.